Better late than never, right? Let's take a look at these Air Jordan 12 cherries. Welcome back to Kicks on Kicks, my channel where I review sneakers. And today, we're taking a look at classic, recently retroed classic. These are the Air Jordan 12 in the cherry configuration. Gotta love these. A color that Michael Jordan actually wore on court several times during championship runs. This is a classic sneaker. There's no way around it. This is a shoe that I'm glad I didn't miss out on. Of course, I've missed out on the release day hype, but I'm glad I have these in the collection. We'll talk about them a little bit more. We'll talk about the packaging. I'll give you some legit checking indicators that you can look out for so you can tell the difference between a replica like this and the actual retail product, as Bob Barker would say. So let's get into it. Huge shout out to the homies that sent this over for review. But let's start this up from the bottom up. We're looking at the standard Air Jordan 12 outsole. It's got a sort of translucent cherry red outsole, if you will, with, these herringbone traction pods here at the forefoot and the heel. And we've got a carbon fiber shank plate once again, which of course made its debut on the Air Jordan 11, but now we got it on the 12 as well. Got a little white 23 little accent there, and then we get the Jumpman that extends from the bottom of the shoe up to the toe. Very cool. Now let's take a look at the midsole, where you see this outsole kind of extends pretty far. This shoe feels like it was built for outdoor use, almost like an Air Raid and some other shoes like that. But hey, wear it wherever you want to wear it. Then again, not like anybody's playing basketball in these anyway. But your midsole, this is a standard like sort of Phylon midsole. Got like a little honeycomb pattern on here, almost like a basketball. Probably intentional, considering this is a basketball shoe, right? And that's done all over in this red. Looks like it's painted on. Looks like that red is painted on here on the midsole. And then let's move on to the upper, where the basketball texture continues on these sort of mudguard pieces. I love this bright varsity red on this accent here. And we got the same thing on the medial side. You'll also notice on the lateral side, there's this little plastic piece that says Jumpman. Very nice. This is dope. And then of course the star of the show is this really soft tumbled leather in the rising sun pattern. It's inspired by the Japanese rising sun. Just meant to promote like Zen and peace and whatnot. Very visually pleasing to look at, even after all these years. This is one of those shoes that I feel like has just aged well over time. The Jordan 11 is futuristic in a way that this one is not. This feels classic though. Super classic. Let's look at your sort of top-down view as we look at the laces. Everything on this upper is a straight up, basically a one-piece upper. It's all white tumbled leather. But then on the tongue, you've also got, it's actually a mesh tongue with a leather overlay. And on that leather overlay, you got the same sort of contrast stitches there to give that texture and that sort of pattern, like that wavy pattern. But then you also get the words 2-3 written down the tongue. And then, of course, Jumpman up top. Looking at the back of the shoe, as you can see, I've worn these since I did the initial unboxing. But looking at the back of the shoe, we got 23 here on the heel, kind of molded into the outsole. And then this is something we don't get on like most Jordans. But Jordan, quality inspired by the greatest player ever. I'm curious to know if that's exactly what these looked like back in '97 when Jordan was still playing and this shoe was out. Huh. Interesting thought. Anyway, got the Jumpman right there, the white. This black really makes it for me. I can't even lie. I wasn't crazy excited about this shoe when I saw that it was retroing because I got the Cherry 11s last year and I never wear those Cherry 11s. They're too bright, they draw too much attention. So I was like, I don't need another white and red shoe. But this one, this is just dope. I think it's got just enough black. Speaking of the black, you can see the black in that sock liner. And then on your insole, it's a black insole with a red Jumpman. You won't be able to see that from this angle. But anyway, let's look at the packaging real quick and then we can talk about legit checking. So these come in a throwback classic Air Jordan 12 box with the Nike logo, Nike branding as they had in 1997. So we got Nike swoosh on the top, Nike branding all along the outside. Just do it. That's very cool. My dad had a pair of shoes with this box. But anyway, engineered and built to the exact specifications of the championship athletes from around the world. So this is a very much Nike box, not a Jordan box, which is interesting. Interesting choice in 2023. Let's look at the box tag. Air Jordan 12 Retro, white, black, and varsity red. I got these in a size 9. And they fit true to my size 9. So no complaints there. Now let's talk about legit checking because, with any Air Jordan, when I look at for legit checking, I'm looking at like just the places where corners are clearly cut. A lot of times, we talk about little inconsistencies, and it's like, well, retail pairs have these inconsistencies as well, and that's true. But when we're looking at like replicas, fakes, UAs, whatever you want to call them, there's typically a few telltale signs that what you're dealing with is a rep and not just a poorly QC'd retail sneaker. Now let's start out with the blacklight test. So as I turn the light down for the blacklight test, we're going to start seeing some things immediately. The first thing that I notice, and maybe I'll turn this down even more. First thing that I notice on this shoe, there's a lot of like just kind of excess glue and marks all over the white areas on this upper. You also notice there's a lot of glue between the midsole and outsole. And I don't know if that's, a feature on the retail, but I do know that all this glue should not be on the upper like this. It's like glue and pen marks all over the place. These pen marks, these are used on the retail shoes as well, right? They'll use these heat disappearing pens so that they can mark where certain things are supposed to go. They'll use them to mark the leather before they make these sewings or these, what do you call those? Before they make these little patterns with the sewing machine, they use them to guide themselves. But all that should be removed prior to the shoe getting to you. And in this case, those are not removed. That's one of those corners that gets cut pretty consistently on the UA side. So I like to call this the laser tag test. You can see they try to center it right there. There's a lot there that you can see. And it's the same on the right shoe as well. Big center line mark right there. And yeah, still super sloppy. So that is the biggest telltale sign that this shoe is not a legit, authentic shoe. But other than that, like I said, some of the areas where corners tend to be cut, you start seeing like just excess glue. When I put these on feet and I just look from the top down view, there's so much glue in certain spots that it straight up looks white along these edges. And I'm like, that shouldn't be the case. But other than that, man, as long as you're not going to play laser tag, most people will not be able to tell the difference between this shoe and the retail shoe. Because I've seen those in hand as well. But all in all, a dope shoe. Anytime you can get a shoe that, is an OG colorway and that Michael Jordan wore, it's going to be a special shoe. And like I said, this has just enough black to keep me wearing it more than I wore my Jordan 11 cherries. So all in all, a dope shoe. Let's get it on feet, and I'll talk to y'all soon.